Welcome back to the channel, basketball fans. Today, we are standing on the precipice of a seismic shift in the National Basketball Association, navigating a day that will undoubtedly be remembered in the annals of basketball history. We have two absolute bombshells to dissect today. Two colossal stories that intertwine in the most fascinating, complex ways, ultimately reshaping the Eastern Conference and the entire league as we know it. Grab a seat and settle in, because the summer of 2026 has officially descended into absolute chaos, and the balance of power in the NBA is teetering on a knife's edge. Let us start with the sheer financial magnitude of what we just witnessed in Ohio. Donovan Mitchell, the heart, the soul, and the undisputed offensive engine of the Cleveland Cavaliers, has just locked down his future. Mitchell has agreed to a staggering 4-year maximum salary contract extension worth $273 million. Let that number wash over you for a second. $273 million over 4 years. If we break down the economics of this monumental deal, especially for our international audience tuning in from around the globe, the figures become almost incomprehensible. When you convert his annual salary to Philippine pesos, Donovan Mitchell is set to make roughly 51 million pesos for every single regular season game he laces up his sneakers. 51 million pesos per game. It is a breathtaking testament to the exploding revenue of the NBA, the value of a true superstar in her prime, and the unwavering commitment of the Cavaliers front office to keep their championship window propped wide open. This extension silences all the whispers, all the rampant speculation that Mitchell might look toward the major coastal markets. He is staying in the land, and he is doing so with a contract that redefines generational wealth. But as massive as that financial earthquake is, it might merely be the aftershock to the hurricane brewing on the horizon. Because while Donovan Mitchell secures his bag, the undisputed king of the NBA, LeBron James, is meticulously plotting his next and perhaps final royal decree. At 41 years old, defying every known law of athletic mortality and human physiology, LeBron James is a free agent. And according to the most tapped-in insiders in the industry, the sweepstakes of the all-time leading scorer have been whittled down to an exclusive, elite hierarchy. LeBron James only has 3 teams left on his radar. He is leaving the Western Conference behind. The Los Angeles Lakers chapter has officially closed. Now, his eyes are firmly fixed on the East, and the finalists are the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, and, in a twist of poetic destiny, the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3 teams. 3 incredibly distinct situations. 3 different paths to a championship ring that could forever cement his legacy as the greatest to ever touch a basketball. Think about the sheer gravity of this moment. We are talking about a player who, even in his early 40s, commands the absolute undivided attention of the entire sports world. When LeBron James makes a move, economies shift. Television networks scramble. The paradigm of the league flips upside down. This is not just a free agency decision. It is a kingdom-altering event. He is evaluating pitches, looking at rosters that have undergone radical, unimaginable transformations over the past year, and weighing where he can exert the most influence on the court while chasing that elusive final championship. Today, we're going to dive deep, and I mean incredibly deep, into every single facet of this developing megastory. We will break down the intricacies of Donovan Mitchell's earth-shattering 51 million peso per game contract and what his early commitment actually means for Cleveland's salary cap flexibility. Then, we will thoroughly dissect the 3 teams vying for LeBron's legendary services. We will look at the Philadelphia 76ers, who have somehow acquired Jaylen Brown, to pair with Joel Embiid. We will travel down to South Beach to examine the Miami Heat, who have boldly paired Bam Adebayo with the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. And finally, we will return to Northeast Ohio to analyze the tantalizing, storybook possibility of LeBron returning home to a Cavaliers team that now features Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. The 2026 offseason is officially the wildest we have ever seen. So let's peel back the layers and uncover what is really happening behind the closed doors of NBA front offices. To truly understand the cascading effects of today's news, we must first start by unpacking the Donovan Mitchell extension, because it is a crucial domino that sets the rest of this Eastern Conference arms race into motion. On the surface, a 4-year, $272.8 million contract is simply the going rate for a perennial All-NBA talent. Mitchell is coming off a spectacular season where he averaged nearly 28 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game, carrying the Cavaliers to their first Eastern Conference Finals appearance since the departure of LeBron in 2018. Although their playoff run ended in a grueling sweep at the hands of the eventual 2026 NBA champion New York Knicks, Mitchell proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is a true playoff ceiling raiser. But the real story here is the timing of the contract. Tuesday was the very first day Mitchell was eligible to sign this extension. He had 2 years remaining on his previous deal. If he had just waited 12 more months, if he had bet on himself and played out the upcoming season, he would have been eligible for the designated veteran player extension next summer. That is the fabled Supermax. Had he waited, Mitchell could have signed a 5-year deal worth an astronomical $350 million. He voluntarily left a potential 5th year and nearly $80 million of guaranteed future money on the negotiating table to lock in his 4-year deal right now. Why? Why would a player in his absolute prime do that? The answer lies in the salary cap gymnastics required to build a dynasty. By signing this extension now, which replaces his player option for the 2027 to 2028 season and sets his starting salary at roughly $60 million in that first year, Mitchell has given the Cleveland Cavaliers immediate financial clarity and critical flexibility for this current offseason. It is a massive show of good faith. He is telling the front office, "I am here. My money is slotted. Now go get us the final piece of the puzzle." And that final piece, the elephant in the room, is a 41-year-old kid from Akron. Let us pivot now to the LeBron James sweepstakes, because Mitchell's contract directly impacts Cleveland's ability to bring the king home. According to Shams Charania and multiple league insiders, LeBron has a strict hierarchy, and he is taking these specific pitches incredibly seriously. The landscape of the Eastern Conference has morphed into an absolute bloodbath of super teams, and LeBron is meticulously calculating his point of entry. Let us analyze his first option, the Philadelphia 76ers. 4 months. The Sixers were viewed as a fringe contender in the LeBron sweepstakes, but a massive, landscape-altering trade has suddenly catapulted them to the top of his list. The Sixers managed to pull off a stunning acquisition, trading away Paul George to the Boston Celtics in exchange for 5-time All-Star Jaylen Brown. The Celtics broke up the Jays, and Philadelphia capitalized. Now, Daryl Morey has constructed a terrifying core featuring the sheer dominance of Joel Embiid, the blistering speed of Tyrese Maxey, and the elite two-way wing play of Jaylen Brown. LeBron James is reportedly looking at this Philadelphia roster and seeing the perfect environment to preserve his aging body while still competing for a title. Because of Philadelphia's salary cap situation after taking on Brown's massive contract, they can only offer LeBron a veteran's minimum salary. That means LeBron James will be playing for roughly $3.9 million, with a cap hit of just $2.4 million. For a billionaire like LeBron, the NBA's salary at this stage of his career is essentially a rounding error. He does not need the money. He needs the infrastructure. In Philadelphia, he would not have to carry the offensive load for 40 minutes a night. He could operate as the ultimate high IQ point forward, feeding Embiid in the post, kicking out to Maxey on the perimeter, and relying on Jaylen Brown to take the toughest defensive assignments. It is a ready-made championship contender that just needs a floor general to orchestrate the chaos. But then, we look at option number 2, a franchise that is synonymous with LeBron's evolution from a star into a champion, the Miami Heat. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra have never been ones to sit idly by. And this summer, they executed a trade that shook the league to its core. The Miami Heat traded away almost every single draft asset and young piece they had to pry Giannis Antetokounmpo out of Milwaukee. Let me repeat that. The Miami Heat have paired Bam Adebayo with Giannis Antetokounmpo. From a basketball perspective, the fit is completely fascinating. A front court of Giannis, Bam, and LeBron James would feature arguably the greatest collection of size, switchability, and transition dominance in the history of the sport. The spacing would admittedly be claustrophobic. There's not a lot of elite three-point shooting in a trio of LeBron, Giannis, and Bam. But defensively, they would be a terrifying, impenetrable wall of muscle and length. For LeBron, return to South Beach offers a chance to close his career where he learned how to win. It is where he won his first 2 rings, his first 2 finals MVPs, and where he embraces legendary villain era. Playing alongside Giannis would allow LeBron to take a massive step back during the grueling 82-game regular season. Giannis is a battering ram who can carry a team to 55 wins by sheer force of will, allowing LeBron to load manage his way to April and unleash his peak physical output solely in the playoffs. And finally, we arrive at the third team in this hierarchy, the romantic choice, the cinematic ending, the Cleveland Cavaliers. To understand the current state of the Cavaliers, we have to look at the moves they made at the trade deadline. Realizing that the Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland backcourt had reached its absolute ceiling, the Cavs made a shocking move, shipping Garland to the Los Angeles Clippers in exchange for James Harden. The Beard arrived in Cleveland, formed an instant dynamic offensive backcourt with Mitchell, and propelled the team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now look at the board. Donovan Mitchell has just locked in his 51 million peso per game extension. James Harden is expected to re-sign. Evan Mobley is anchoring the defense. And there's a LeBron James size hole at the small forward position. In his famous 2014 essay announcing his first return to Cleveland, LeBron wrote, "I always believed that I'd return to Cleveland and finish my career there. I just didn't know when." Could 2026 be the final chapter? Basketball purists might argue that a lineup featuring Harden, Mitchell, and LeBron James requires 3 basketballs to function properly. All 3 are incredibly ball dominant. But LeBron James in 2026 is a different player than he was in 2018. He is smarter, more efficient, and incredibly deadly as an off-ball cutter and spot-up shooter when he chooses to be. The sheer emotional weight of LeBron returning to Cleveland to play his final seasons, to share the court with a prolific scorer like Mitchell and an elite playmaker like Harden, would dominate the global sports narrative. Cleveland is where it all began in 2003. It is where he delivered the most iconic championship in NBA history in 2016. Returning now, at 41, wouldn't be about saving a broken franchise. It would be about taking a very good, hardened playoff team and pushing them over the final hurdle against the defending champion New York Knicks. Mitchell took less money right now specifically to give the Cavaliers the cap room to make this reunion reality. The pieces are on the board, and the hometown is waiting with bated breath. As we wrap up this extensive look at the current state of the NBA, you have to take a step back and just marvel at the sheer lunacy of the Eastern Conference right now. For the better part of 2 decades, we talked about the Western Conference being the dominant powerhouse of the league. But look at what is happening in the East as we head into the 2026 to 2027 season. The New York Knicks are the defending NBA champions, sitting on a throne and waiting for challengers. The Boston Celtics, despite trading Jaylen Brown, still have Jason Tatum and now Paul George. The Philadelphia 76ers have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaylen Brown. The Miami Heat have paired Giannis Antetokounmpo with Bam Adebayo. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have locked in Donovan Mitchell to a $250 million deal alongside James Harden. Yard Barker +1. Into this absolute gauntlet steps a 41-year-old LeBron James, holding the power to tip the scales of the entire league with a single signature. Whether he chooses to take a massive pay cut to orchestrate the offense for Embiid and Brown in Philly, whether he chooses to form a bruising transition nightmare alongside Giannis in South Beach, or whether he decides to write the ultimate storybook ending by returning to the land to join forces with Donovan Mitchell, one thing is absolutely certain. LeBron James is still the center of the basketball universe. And let us not lose sight of the incredible accomplishment by Donovan Mitchell today. In a league where player movement is more frantic and unpredictable than ever, Mitchell found a home in Cleveland. He embraced the city. He elevated the franchise, and today, he was rewarded with a contract that secures his family's future for generations. When you break it down to that 51 million Philippine pesos per game, it truly puts into perspective the global financial titan that the NBA has become. Mitchell earned every single penny of that deal through his spectacular play, his leadership, and his willingness to commit to the Cavaliers' vision. NBC Sports. Now, all eyes turn to LeBron. The clock is ticking. The offers are on the table. The pitches have been made, and they are being taken very, very seriously. We are on LeBron watch 24/7 until the king makes his decree. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Which of these three teams gives LeBron James the best chance to win his fifth championship? Does a fit with Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid in Philly make them the undeniable favorites? Is the defensive potential of playing with Giannis in Miami too good to pass up? Or is the story of return to Cleveland to play with newly extended Donovan Mitchell the right way for LeBron to ride off into the sunset? Let me know your thoughts, debate out, and as always, if you enjoyed this deep dive analysis, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update as this wild NBA offseason continues to unfold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.